Hello everyone, welcome to MES e-learning channel. In this video, we'll learn to write a program in C using structures to accept employee's name, employee's ID, date of joining and salary. Then we have to display the result in descending order of their salary. We have to store the data of n employees. So if there are n employees, we will have to use an array of structures, right? And then here we have to take the date of joining. Hence, we'll have to create nested structure within structure, right? For the date, because date will have three elements: day, month and year, correct? So we will use a nested structure for that. Okay, then we will have to display the result in descending order of their salary. So let's see how we can write a code for that. So initially we have to attach our header files, which are stdio.h. So we are writing hash include std, that is standard input output.h. Then you will attach conio.h if you are doing your program on Turbo C++ compiler. If you are not using it, you can avoid writing this. Then we will also use string.h because we may use few string related functions. Okay, so we have attached this header file as well. Now we will declare and define our date structure for date of joining. So we will write that here. So first the keyword struct before writing the structure name. Structure name is date. So this is how you write it, right? First you write the keyword struct, then whatever is the structure's name, then you start the curly braces, you write all the variables that are there inside, then you close the structure and semicolon, right? So I have written struct, then the structure's name, that is date. I will start my curly brace, open curly brace, we have day. So day is obviously of integer data type, so day, then integer month and integer year, close the curly brace and semicolon. Now we will create our main structure, which is for employee. So again we will write the keyword struct and then we will write employee, open curly brace, and we will write down all the variables that are required, that is name of the employee, employee ID, date of joining and their salary. So char of name, so we have created a string which can have 50 elements. Then we have created a variable employee ID of integer data type, and we have created this structure within structure for date, correct? And the instance here is joining date, right? So this is the instance of the structure. So how do you write the instance? Struct keyword, name of the structure, date. Okay, so structure name and instance of the structure. Okay, so this is the instance of the structure, which is joining date, and then we have salary variable of float data type. When we say instance, okay, so joining date will have three variables, right? So when you access them, they will be joining date dot, it can be day, right? Then if it is month, you will write joining underscore day, whatever is the instant name, dot operator and the month, and accordingly. Okay, so we have created both our structures. Okay, so this is structure within structure. This structure is specified above here. Okay, So, we have done the definition of both these structures. Now, we will write int main. So, you have to define the structures before you start writing your main function. So, we have done that. Here we will define, or we can say we are going to declare all the variables that we are going to use. So, we will have to ask them, right, in the number of employees that are there. So, that is why we will have to ask them the number of employees. So, we are creating a variable n for the number of employees, yes, and then we will be using for loop. So, I am creating iterators I and j here itself. Okay. After that, we will write printf statement. In that printf statement, we are going to write enter the number of employees, okay, /n for new line, okay, and then you will write scanf to read the data or accept the data from the user, %d because n is of integer data type, comma, ampersand and n because the variable's name is n. So, once you have received the number of employees, right, we are going to declare the instance of structure employee. So, we will write that struct then employee and its instance employees, which is an array of size n, which we have taken here from the user, right. Now, we will take input of the employee data. So, for that we will be using a for loop. For will start from 0, okay, from 0 index. So, 0 I can be less than whatever is the number of employees. If the number of employees is 3, I will take values 0, 1 and 2 because the condition is I should be less than n. When I becomes 3, it is not less than the value of n, hence this condition stands false. That is why I will take these 3 values 0, 1 and 2, okay, when we have n as 3. Then we will increment our iterator I by 1. In the parenthesis, we will ask, so we are writing printf and we are writing enter employee name, okay, /n for new line, okay, and then we will write scanf. Here name is of, we have created name here, right, which is of character data type, okay, but it is a string. So, what is its format specifier? It is %s, okay, and then you will write the instance employees, correct, and I because it is an array, dot operator and then name, okay. Similarly, you will ask them for their employee ID. So, you will write printf enter employee ID /n for new line. Then again scanf, employee ID is of integer data type, that is why format specifier is d, we have written %d. Then you will write ampersand employees I dot whatever is the variable that you have created for employee ID in the structure, right. So, employee ID, one thing to observe is we are not writing ampersand here in scanf when we are using strings, okay. When using decimal numbers or integer numbers, we have to use ampersand. So, that is what we are doing. Next, we have to take the date of joining from them. So, for that we will print enter date of joining in this format, day, day, month, month and year, 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 correct. So, we will tell them in which format they need to enter the data, then /n for new line and close the statement. Now they will enter the data, right? For that we are writing scanf, since they are going to enter day, month and year, right? So here while creating the structure, they are 3 different variables, right, of integer data type. That is why we will write %d 3 times. So %d and %d, okay, and then you will write ampersand employees I. Employees is the instance, I is the iterator's value, right. So 0, employee 0's joining date. So joining date is the instance that you have created, okay, and in that instance you have to access the day. So employees is the instance of employee structure, correct. It is the instance of employee structure, and joining date is the instance of date structure. These two are nested structures, right. That is why we are using 2 dot operators. First the main structure, then the inner structure, and then the variable that you want to access, right. Similarly for month and day, so ampersand employees I joining date and then month now, then comma ampersand employees joining date. In that you have to access the year and store it, correct. So after this is done, you will ask them to enter the salary. So we will write a printf statement, and then we will ask them to enter salary, correct. So for that we will write scanf, and here since it is of float data type, we will write %f comma ampersand structures instant, that is employees I dot the salary variable that we have created. Now here it has taken the data that is required, that is the name, the employee ID, the date of joining and salary, okay. Now it has to sort the employees by salary in descending order. So for that we will have to write a for loop. So we are writing 2 for loops, nested for loops, okay. So here it will be able to basically sort the employees in the descending order as per their salary. For that we are writing 2 nested for loops. I is initialized at 0. I will take how many iterations? It will take iterations till less than n minus 1, okay, n minus 1, and I plus plus, okay. This is the inner for loop. J is also starting at 0. J should be less than n minus I minus 1 and j plus plus. Inside this we are writing if statement. Now if both these conditions are true, then only this if statement will be executed. So if employees j, now j, if j is 0, whatever is at 0th instance, if that employee's salary is less than the next employee how we will get? By incrementing j to 1, hai na, j plus 1 salary. In that case we have to swap the salaries, right. In that case we have to swap it. So what we will do? We will say, so we are writing, we are creating an instance struct employee and then temporary variable. So you have to write struct, name of the structure and the instance that is required here, which is temporary. It is equal to what? Employees. okay, employee whichever is at the jth position, that is the 0th position. Employees I will now get the value whichever is placed at just a minute, this is j, this is also j plus 1, and here j plus 1 will get whatever is in temp, correct. So, this is the closing curly brace of your if statement, this is your closing curly brace of your inner for, and this is the closing curly brace of your outer for. Now, let me explain what exactly this for loop is doing. Now, for example, if we have 3 employees, the first employee is getting 10,000 rupees, second employee is getting 5,000 rupees, and the third employee is getting 20,000 rupees. Okay. So, what basically are we going to do? So, these are the 3 employees. Okay. So, this is basically stored inside an array, right. So, starting from 0th position to 3rd position, this is how the data is stored, correct. So, now what basically is going to happen? In the first iteration, I is equal to 0, I should be less than n. N is what? Total number of elements, the total number of employees, that is 3 minus 1. So, is I, that is 0, less than 2? Yes, it is. So, in that case, it will get inside the j loop, j is initialized at 0. Is j less than n, that is 3 minus I is 0 minus 1. So, 3 minus 1 is 2. So, is 0 less than 2? Yes. In that case, now these if statements will be executed. So, now what have we done in if statement? If employee j's salary, so this is for the employees, okay. So, this is for the employees. Now, j is what? 0. If employee j salary, which is the employee j, 0th position, j is at 0, is this person's salary less than the second person's salary? How am I saying second person? Because j is 0, so obviously this is 0 plus 1, that is 1. So, we are comparing these two people's salary. Is it less in our case, that the example that we are taking? No, right, it is not. So, what will happen? It will not swap the values, right, because this condition is not true. So, again it will not get inside, but it will come back up to the inner for loop, increment the value of j to 1 now. So, j will be, I is still 0, j is 1. In that case, here again 3 minus 1 minus 1, because j is 1. So, 3 minus 1 minus 1 is 1. So, is 0 less than 1? Yes. So, what it will do now? It will compare the value of j. Now, j is what? As I told you, j is 1 and here j is 1 plus 1. So, this is equal to what? So, which two people are we comparing now? These two people at 1 and 2 position, employee number 1 and employee number at index 2. So, is 5,000 less than 20,000? Yes, it is true. So, now this condition is true, hence it will get inside the for loop, and then what we are basically doing? We are assigning this value to temp. So, employee j, what is there at this particular thing? Employee j is now moved to temporary. So, what is j? So, basically this is now rearranged like this. So, now it is 10,000, 20,000 and 5,000, but still this is not in descending order, right. So, that is why we have taken this extra loop, outer for loop. Now, again it will come out to j, but this condition will not be satisfied when j is equal to 2, because 2 is not less than what? When you solve this, n's value is 3, 3 minus 2 minus 1. Okay. So, this particular condition stands to be false, hence it will come out to the outer for loop. I will become 1 now, and the comparison will again take place. These two values will be compared and swapping will take place. So, it will become 20,000, then it will be 10,000, then this 10,000 will be compared in the next iteration with 5,000, but it is already in the right position. So, no swapping will take place, and hence the salaries are now in proper descending order, right. So, this is what the if loop is doing for us. It is swapping the values depending upon the salaries. Now, simply what we have to do, we have to display these values. So, we are simply using a for loop, the same for loop that we had used while taking the employee data. So, before that we are simply writing a printf statement, and we are writing employee information, okay, sorted by salary in descending order /n, right. Now, same for loop, I is equal to 0 from 0th employee till the 3rd employee, okay. So, 0, 1, 2, 0 is the first employee, first instance is for the second employee, 2 is for the third employee, right, and I plus plus, then you will basically print first the employee's name, right. Before that you will just write employee, which employee it is. So, percentage D /n, and then you will write I plus 1, because I is 0. So, 0 plus 1 will give you which employee? First employee, okay, correct. So, here you have written that. Then you are going to print name. So, is it a string? Yes, it is a string. So, that is why percentage S and /n for new line, quotes, comma, employees I dot name, okay. After that you will print the employee ID. So, you will write employee ID, it is an integer. So, percentage D /n, right, and you will write employee is the instance for I dot, and then the emp underscore ID, the variable name that you have created. And then finally, we are going to print the date of joining, okay. So, date of joining needs to be printed. So, date of joining is percentage 02D / percentage 02D / percentage D, okay. Then you will put a /n for new line, and then you will write employees I dot joining date dot day, then you will write employees I, the first instance, dot joining underscore date, the inner instance, and then here you will write month, and then finally you will write the year, right, and then you will write the salary. Print f salary percentage dot to f. If you want to keep only two numbers after the decimal point, /n employee I dot salary, okay. Now, what is this percentage 02D? Percentage is for specifying that this is the format specifier. 0 meaning it has to pad zeros. How many zeros? The number should at least have 2 digits. So, day should obviously have 2 digits. So if somebody enters 9, it will pad an extra 0 at front because it should have at least 2 digits, and D because it is of integer data type. Yes, so that is why we have written percentage 0 to D, and at the end here we have not written anything, we have simply written percentage D because we cannot pad zeros in front of our year, it does not make sense, right. So this is the code. At the end you will write get ch if you are using turbo C, and then return 0 if you are using int main at the beginning, or you will not write return 0 if you have started with void main. So here I will show you how to use online GDB compiler to see the output of a code. Okay, so if you do not have turbo C++ compiler on your system, you can use this online compiler to practice on your mobile phone or on your laptop that you have. Here you have to select the language. Since we are doing C programming, we will select C, then you type your entire code, okay, and then click on run. Okay, after you click on run, it will start asking you for the data. It is asking the number of employees. Let us say the number of employees is 2, then you click enter, enter the employee's name. Let us say the name of the employee is Anna. I write the name, then their employee ID, let us say it is 11, then date of joining. So let us say it is 9/11/2005, then their salary, let us say it is 50,000, enter. Now again it will ask the data of the second employee, since we said that the total number of employees is 2. So our for loop will take total 2 iterations, right. So now the name of the second employee, let us say it is Mona, the employee's ID, let us say it is 15, date of joining is 30/4/1998, then we enter. It is asking for the salary, let us say it is 80,000, okay, then we click on enter. Now after this it will start showing the result. Now what we are expecting in this code, we want to display the data of both the employees in descending order of their salary. Whichever employee has the greater salary, that person's data needs to be displayed first, right. And also please observe the date of joining. The first employee's date of joining's day is 9. So since there should be 2 digits, a 0 will be padded in front of 9, right. So after that I will press enter to see the output. So when I am clicking on enter, this is what is my output, right. Here I entered all the data, then here it is displaying the data in descending order of the salary. Okay, so the second person had greater salary, so their details are being printed first, then the data of the employee that we entered first. I hope you have understood. If you have any doubt, you can ask me in the comment section. Thank you for watching.